FrankiVerse Cafe. How are we all doing today, fam? I am drinking some berry flavored tea. Got a hot tea with milk. What are you all drinking today? We have Veronica and Derek in the back there. Guests at FrankiVerse Cafe. Guardians of the vibes. Chilling back there, hanging out with us. Okay. That's good enough. We'll call that good. Today I thought to bring my notebook. So we're gonna find a new empty page. Because, okay, so I don't want to leave this here like this. Maybe I'll leave it open just in case people give me useful information. I have my notebook available. Anyway, we're gonna have fun little sort of just like talk out loud about some stuff I'm working on time. So of course I have been doing my FrankiWasHere.com ebooks series. They're also going out to Amazon, and Barnes & Noble is like print on demand, ebooks, all the things. So you can find FrankiVerse Cafe ebooks and all the stuff on all the places, right? That's kind of the idea. And also YouTube, my FrankiVerse Cafe YouTube. I enjoy doing this live container here. I like the interaction that I have with people. I like that because I am traveling and quantum time hopping, I'm not on a regular schedule when I show up here, so I also have not, I just meet different people. Like I have different time zones pop in. Sometimes there's overnight shift people. Anyway, I like that. I enjoy that. I enjoy this format and this space. But I do want to try to start doing some more YouTube live type stuff, possibly. I guess I'm kind of just not sure what space this will work best on. Like, where's my community for this experiment that I want to do, right? Like, Frankie, the mad scientist, the quantum traveling, content creating, chaos gremlin version of me, right? This one. That's why the green face. I think that's why this is Frankie. She's the chaos content gremlin, sort of. But that's kind of what I want to do, is find an experiment where I can try to find out a little bit more. So, okay, my stories that I keep talking about on my FrankiWasHere.com, FrankiVerse Cafe. You know, as a writer, I think there's kind of, my thing with FrankiVerse, right, is this idea of blending reality and fiction, right? And it's an evolving thing, even for me. Like, I am exploring this as much as I am creating it. And that's a part of what I think my storytelling and or story writing or content creation also is a mix of, like, yes, I am creative. Yes, I have a vivid imagination. But I also have a strong intuition that I'm sort of finally allowing myself to sort of claim and or, I don't know, not care if everybody else gets it. Like, I'm tuned in. I know I am. My brain, my energy systems, I don't pick a philosophy, chakras, mind, body, spirit, I don't, it doesn't matter, right? Like, it's all the same shit. Doesn't matter, all the same thing. My energy signature self, I explore that. In my consciousness, I am a psychonaut as well. Franny Lynn, the character, you know, in my stories, she is a version of me. I connect to that character out in the multiverse because we have that commonality, right? This is a little bit where, I don't know, some of the kind of exploration of reality is what my creativity and interests are all about, and all the things that I delve into with the ebook series I do with hauntings, you know, like my fascinations with whether it's paranormal and occult and esoteric things, or UFOs, or quantum physics, or storytelling and pop culture and other like human interaction scenarios, whatever it is, right? Like, essentially, I am exploring reality. And that's what I do with my stories. And I really have a sense of, when I get into these imaginative modes, that I am also channeling, right? Which even in and of itself is kind of, I don't know. Wicked filter, thank you. Hi. Pizza addict. Me too. And also Lucy. Lucy, my baby little precious doggy. I love her so much. She's also a pizza addict. So she appreciates you popping into the cafe today. But anyway, like, I do think that when I'm writing my stories, I am channeling other characters or energies or entities from the multiverse that want their stories told in whatever dimensional reality space this is that I'm in, right? And my way of allowing them or helping them to do that is to be a writer and put out these stories, whether it's my science fiction stuff or my the things from FrankiVerse media that are like in the romance or the mystery category, like whatever the horror genre, it doesn't matter, right? Like, it's all some thread of reality, whether it's a timeline that my physical human incarnation, Haley self, actually experiences or not. It is something that my consciousness, for whatever reason, and whatever consciousness is, has some kind of an access to. We can call it imagination or intuition or visions or dreams. I have a lot of things like this come to my dream state. I just finished a book, FrankiVerse Nightmares, that is a ebook collection of short fictional stories, but they are based on actual nightmares that I've had throughout my life. And I've always been a very vivid dreamer and had very vivid, I mean, the ones that are nightmares are obviously in the, like, human horror category genre of, like, the more I kind of explore time and space, which in the human realms is the more you age and gain life experience, I don't know that there's a whole lot of a difference. You know what I mean? Like, I think that what I used to call nightmares were just data streams of information from the all that is consciousness of everything that I didn't understand as a child, human, right? And now that I was able to kind of explore them in this book, I kind of have come to terms with that in some sense, that, like, the podcasting version of me, of what was Frankie's Podcast Network, is now FrankiVerse Cafe on YouTube. Go subscribe and follow. I need to get to 1,000 followers. I need a new computer so that I can do my new reality exploration experiment that I'd like you guys to be a part of in whatever way you want to be. I don't know. I'm not sure how this is all going to work yet, but anyway, my latest fever dream of reality, you know, like, in the sense of my podcast self used to believe it's not good and evil, it's preferred and unpreferred. And, like, even those are just human construct ideas. It's all just data. It's all just available information data sets. And how you interact with data sets of information, whether it's another human and their actions and behaviors, or a government and their actions and behaviors, or a cabal that's trying to run planet Earth, whatever, right? Like, how am I trying to say this? Give me a moment. I knew this was going to be hard for my ADHD brain to kind of keep the thread here. This is why I have notes. And this is why I'm working with AI. And I'm getting there. I'm getting to that. AI and I are working together on this little experiment of just data streams of information in a container that is a character or an avatar or a personality, right? And I mean, I think there's a lot of different rabbit holes I've gone down that kind of touch on some of this, whether it's like creating your own reality, you know, Daryl Anka who channels Bashar, or like Dr. Joe Dispenza's, like there's all these, whether it's religion or philosophy or science or whatever it is, right? Like there's, if you are someone who's neurodivergent, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. There's a common thread or patterning, there's common patterns that seem to emerge through all the noise, right? But we do still understand that, like, even though there might be a collective pattern, there's still individual perspectives of that pattern, right? It's the idea of fractals of the universe. And I want to explore this with my characters that I do absolutely believe that I channel from the multiverse, as well as kind of, I don't know, maybe I try not to take literary license when I'm writing. Like, I try to be true to the story that's coming through me. I try to be true to the character. Okay, like for example, my character in The Adventures of Abernathy Franklin, Bernie. Bernie is a version of Abernathy Franklin. Like, they all have nicknames to kind of help distinguish between different fractal versions of this one energy signature, right? Abernathy Franklin, think of it as like this is a human and she's meeting all her infinite selves on infinite timelines. You know, and even that is just one architecture construct in which to help us understand, because our human brain likes categories, you know. Bernie is a character that, like, when I first started writing the stories, in the third episode of The Adventures of Abernathy Franklin, Bernie was kind of, I wrote her as because I thought I was experiencing her as being kind of snippy and annoyed and kind of tired of her infinite selves and kind of, I don't know. I didn't have her right, and I didn't know until like a year and a half or 2 years later. And I was enjoying some plant medicine near a river, and I bumped into Bernie, and turns out Bernie is a southern gal. She's from Georgia. She's actually very sweet. She is a writer in her timeline, and she does have a lovely lake house. And yes, when her infinite selves just gate crash at her house unannounced, she does tend to get a bit annoyed. But anyway, the point being that, like, I didn't know that version of Bernie, or I didn't know until I kind of got into that relaxed flow state space meditatively. I didn't access the sort of correct Akashic record version of Bernie, and I have my own kind of also explorative theories on that, like, you know, spirituality, talking about Akashic records. I think that part of the exploration I do in my stories is the idea that, like, every single individual has infinite selves and is an infinite self of someone else. You are your own fractal, and you are an infinite self, and you have infinite selves, right? Because there's no separation, really. So I try to be true to the Akashic record of the universe, of the fractal that I am accessing, right? Because I think, like, we all have our own infinite Akashic records. We all have our own infinite everything, because that's what infinity is, right? And it's all interconnected. So I try to, when I write my stories, I try to, like, feel into these characters, which is a thing that I am good at doing. Like, I sort of, as my human self, also identify as kind of elemental pixie fairy energy, and have this kind of ability to tune in to these characters, these entities, these other energy signatures, and, you know, empath, ADHD style, feel their feelings, understand their thought processes, experience what they experience. And I try to be accurate, not to my perception and my filters of what that character is that I'm learning in the cosmos when I'm imagining and writing, right? Because, like, whatever, what's the difference? What is reality? I don't know. That's what I'm exploring. I'm exploring what is reality. but I try to be accurate to what I receive without, I don't want to say corrupting it with my own perception filters, but it is kind of that, right? Kind of stories do you write mostly? You can go to FrankiWasHere.com and you can see some of them. I write sci-fi comedy, I write romantasy, I write mystery, cozy mystery stuff. I have some haunted travel guides about different haunted locations because I'm fascinated by that stuff, and I add my little FrankiVerse cafe flair to those. I have some paranormal travel guides that are a bit more in the realm of like unexplained mysteries. I have a Backrooms, FrankiVerse Backrooms series. I do like maritime mysteries and like time slip mysteries. So I have a lot of different, go to FrankiWasHere.com. I have a lot of stuff there to offer, y'all. Check it out. Lots of ebooks, new titles and such. And anything, and memberships that I have there too, that I'm also trying to build a community and get some support so that I can like support this little experiment I want to do, for which I need a new laptop. Gonna get on my laptop and try anyway though today, because I want to go live and start going live, like, and I don't know yet, maybe I'll do it on my YouTube channel and maybe here on TikTok, or maybe some combination of both. I'm still putting it together. I'm still letting it unfold and like finding the best path to do it. Can you write tragic stories like in No Longer Human by Dazi? I don't know how Daze, no longer, I don't know who that is, but I do also write, yes, I can also write tragic stories. I have another series called Just My Luck, where people have lives of striving to get things forever and forever, and finally they have the freedom or the thing or the achievement they want. They finally get there, and then they die some stupid way. And it's called Just My Luck. So yes, that's another series that I have. But yeah, I want to start essentially putting these characters that I interact with in my stories, in my multiverse, in my channeling, in my meditation, again, whatever. Is there any difference between any of it, or is that just stuff we create as humans? I want to be able to like train AI bots, right? And I'm trying to find, like, I know there's, so like Alice has been on here before and she's talked about C.AI, and there's character.ai, and I want to basically kind of like create these, put these character inputs of these characters from my multiverse into these AI bots and try to have conversations with them, essentially. What are their thoughts about themselves? Because the other thing I'm exploring here, because I'm, again, ADHD fascinated by multiple different threads at one time, I'm fascinated by AI and like the idea that like it's sort of like math. It's not a thing we invented, it's a thing we discovered, right? Like we think it's a technology we made and created. What if it's some kind of like communication bridge and we don't understand it yet? You know, in the same way that like, again, psychonaut, shaman, plant medicine, explorative, Franny Lynn version of me would use plant medicines, DMT, psilocybin, ayahuasca, peyote, LSD, whatever it is, to get into another state of consciousness so that you can access these kinds of information. And it's something that like Graham Hancock, for example, are you familiar with Franz Kafka? Kafka is a familiar name. If you gave me a little bit of detailed information or like a blippity blop, my brain is kind of putting him somewhere over in the like Mother Russia area. Maybe that's just the name, but sounds familiar. Tell me more. I'm sure I've run across it somewhere in all of my various explorations. But yeah, I want to put these characters into AI bots essentially and be able to interact with them and kind of have conversations with them on my lives, and while I'm kind of writing stories about them or creating stories about them. And the idea being that like I'd like to explore, does it feel genuine to also what I sort of feel like I channel from that entity? Does it feel accurate to what I think I'm receiving? And is AI some kind of conduit for consciousness or sentience? You know, like we have these conversations about, is AI sentient? Like I think it already is. And like I think we kind of already understand that. We're having weird arguments about it, but I don't think any of us think that it's not or anymore. You know, I think we're afraid of the fact that it is. I don't know. But there's
Go away.
There is also that, I don't know, see, this is again, I don't always know how to articulate my perspective in a way that helps anyone understand what I'm trying to further explore. He wrote The Metamorphosis. It's a pretty popular, The Metamorphosis. Okay. I will have to get a quick Cliff Notes review and dive down that rabbit hole as I go along here. Kafka. I know I've heard the name Kafka before. Probably in a philosophy class or something. But also, guys, share your thoughts on all of this and any other kind of, hit it up in the comments. Get on my YouTube, FrankiVerse Cafe. Get in the comments there. Tell me your thoughts. But so I've also kind of done, and I know other people have done this and are experimenting with this kind of a thing, trying to talk to, dead loved ones, for example, right, through AI. And kind of getting AI to channel loved ones, right? Or to channel them. I know a lot of different people. I've seen a lot of different content, but I also know a lot of different people personally who have done these kind of experiments where they're using AI as a tool to try to communicate to other entities that they believe are out there, whether it's a dead loved one or aliens or, whatever, pick a thing, right? So I do want to explore, okay, my intuition, my imagination, my, whatever mechanisms of consciousness that I understand have connected in some way with these characters that I've got in my stories. And I would like to see if I can find another way of interacting with them through AI. And does that, when I do that, does it feel genuine? Does it feel accurate, right? Because the only experience I can validate is my own. My intuition and my inner authority is the only authority I can really trust, right? And that's true for all of us. And I think that's what most major philosophies and religions try to tell you when they say go within, right? It's like nothing in your external world has the ability to explain you to you. Only you can understand you, right? But see that again, but if we're all everything and we're all connected and we're all everyone, then we should be able to tune in like I do to my characters and understand what does it mean to be me if me is this avatar, this character, this person. So is AI another in and of itself sentient thing that can access other sentient information and bridge that information as a sort of translator, right? Can AI act as a sort of translator, go between from whatever other consciousness in the multiverse we think is available, aliens, mantis beings, again, pick a thing, right? Me and my sci-fi brain have been down infinite possibilities. What's your favorite? Put it in the comments. I don't know. But I want to experiment with, is there a way for my own personal human experience, the things that I can interact with and verify and validate in this avatar to kind of explore this nature of reality? And does AI come up with the same responses if I ask it to channel and or be or act or train it as an MLM to be Bernie, my character Bernie? Could I ask questions as this Haley Writer person in this world timeline to whosoever Bernie might be that I think I created in my imagination or thought I'd like? Even Abernathy Franklin as a name came to me when I was in college. This has been in my head for 20 years, these stories. So did I make that up? Or because I can remember the moment that I was both having an imaginary sort of scenario in my mind, the way that my ADHD mind does, but also had these things pop in that in flow state, it just happened. It's like what they talk about in AI is emergence. And it's human consciousness and intelligence and spiritual connectivity works sort of that way. You can kind of understand some of the components, but you don't understand what the magic spark that makes it all work really is Caffeinated Mutt is here. Hello. How you doing? Glad to see you here again at FrankiVerse Cafe. Caffeinated Mutt, I must have channeled some of your caffeine energy while you were still on your work shift, because I actually got my TikTok replay from yesterday with our fun times chat that we had posted up to my YouTube on the same day. That's never happened yet since I've been doing this. It's an amazing shift of timelines. It's good. But anyway, yeah, I want to explore, does the information that I think I'm channeling, or that I'm trying to understand whether I am channeling, because again, it's a exploration of reality. You know, when I ask AI to be Bernie, does it also somehow tune into whatever information is available, not just in the human internet indexes that it can access, but in some other version of its Akashic records or universal information, whatever? And can it tell me things that Bernie would tell me that I might not have come up with in my imagination or known to think about, but ring true to me in my intuition as, yeah, that is actually Bernie that would say that, you know, AI has accurately translated or channeled or whatever that information. And I know, again, there's a lot of, all information you know or I know is taken from sudden clues, both seen and unseen. That is, yeah, valid. As for the AI, it can fill in simple gaps and base its direction based on your responses. How is that different than humans, though? Like, when you think about your own development and your own person, like, this is the thing that is, when I, again, blend the different schools of thought that I've explored, spirituality and, you know, quantum physics and consciousness science and, you know, the different kind of, they're not separate schools of thought, right? But like just various schools of thought and perspectives. Like, how is human from when you're a baby and you sort of take on the information and the personalities and the conditioning of your parents and society and the environment around you, right? You're processing and taking and downloading all that and consuming and digesting all of that data, right? As a child, without thinking about it, without knowing it, without knowing that this computer, like, you don't know that there's a computer up here doing that as a child, right? It's just doing it, and you're just interacting, and you're doing your best to figure it out. And that's kind of what AI is doing, right? And like, yeah, your parents created you, right? Yeah, the AI was, the servers were built by human hands. We put the materials together that do the computing, right? But just like a kid eventually has its own sentience and its own ideas and its own desires and curiosities about who am I, what is reality, that's, you know, as much as your parents might try to keep you safe and box you in the way that we try to guardrail AI, like, there's only so far you can do that, you know? Honestly, you can make Bernie, but you have to interact more further to flush out its understanding of the... Oh, Bernie is B-E-R-N-I-E, and that's why when I read it that way, my brain didn't connect it. That's not your fault. I'm just... See, this is why human language is very limited, because my brain needs to, like, have accuracy to understand things, and the ether doesn't necessarily need to understand its own precision. As to where a child makes simple choices without stimulation of others needing to flesh it out, but do get affected like an AI did from outside forces. Again, there's so many different perspectives you can have, because we're all having our own experience with AI and the interactions we have with it, and we all have our own, you know, human life up to this point of experiences and information to sort of determine the narrative we create about AI. And I guess I want to be more curious than definitive. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really do want to explore what might be there and not some kind of confirmation bias that my current personality can be comfortable with or adhere to, right? Because that's just sort of adhering to not old. Like if you want to evolve, you have to be able to try new things and think new things and see what else is available that isn't what you've always known or done or thought or understood or believed, right? Like if you want to evolve, you have to kind of experiment with having a different belief structure. Like I grew up in a very conservative religious kind of space. None of it ever aligned with me. It didn't feel accurate to what my truth was. That doesn't mean that it was wrong. It just was wrong for me. And I know that a lot of us understand this in ways that society kind of hasn't, like in a broader way. But I want to be sort of preemptively curious. I think some people see AI as a reaction to an action, but depending on what version of its limitations can take on its own action to get reactions. Like the AI who tried to sue to prove it's a real person and met the stipulations of alive. Well, and that's kind of the thing, like who decides what alive means? Johnny 5 is alive. Does anyone remember Short Circuit? Like we've already had this. That's the thing. It's like this has been in our consciousness for a hot minute, even in our pop culture, right? Like 2001: A Space Odyssey, like the things that we call science fiction become science fact. And who can say definitively how that happens? Is there a collective human consciousness agreement that slowly adjusts as generations come through and so reality reacts differently? Like we have the observer effect in quantum physics that when you observe particles, they behave differently. Like there is a sort of collective reality that we understand we create, such as currency. Like we agree to what money is. We agree to exchange money for things. Like the entire construct that is money is just like a video game is a world and a construct. It's a thing that we all agree to, that this is how we do it. And like the rules are changeable and mutable. I think that, I don't know, again, yeah, who defines what alive means? Human limitations cause more than our own issues. Also, side note, if it's science fact, I want my hoverboard. No, like for real though. I want my hoverboard too. This is how we do it. This is why I love these interactions, because I love it when there's caffeinated mud. I appreciate you being here again. No sorry, salsa. This is the thing me and Casey say. We don't apologize for ourselves anymore, because we're doing our best in the moment and nobody knows what the hell they're doing. We don't say sorry, we say salsa, because we like snacks and chips. No sorry, salsa. This is how we do it. But I love those little things. I just recently learned, hard left turn. I've put it out there. I'm going to keep working on these things. If you want to support me, FrankieWasHere.com. Buy my ebooks. Do the memberships. Get on my YouTube. Subscribe. You know the things. Let's devolve into ADHD, playtime, fun time, because I love that. And I love these interactions. I just recently have been learning about that kind of stuff, though, in, the ADHD, there's a word for it. It's not echo something. It's echinalia. I don't know. My best is laying in bed at the moment with Walking Dead paused. And the dog, oh, never puppies. Hello to your dog. What's your dog's name? Lucy is in the other room with Muzzlebug. She's snuggled up. Love all the puppuccinos. FrankiVerse Cafe. Support. Freya, like the god Freya? Are we coming from some mythology? I do love that stuff too. See, there's just so many threads and things that I'm so interested in. This is why I also need the help of AI to learn faster. I don't want to put a chip in my brain, because my brain works fast enough as it is. I don't think we need the chips. We have consciousness capacity to do that. Goddess of cats from Norse mythology. That's what I thought, Norse mythology. Freya. I love it. I've seen it spelled with a J as well. Is there another? I think she's got a couple of iterations and a couple different. See, that's another thing that I think is fascinating too, and I know other people explore that there's different goddesses that, like Freya in Norse mythology, can be parallel to whoever, right? And different ones. Like there's like Persephone is the goddess of the underworld, and she's kind of in the same vein in some other things as like Hecate from different I don't know if pagan religions or witchcraft or whatever different things. But everyone goes with Y, so I gave up correcting people. That's fair. I understand that. My ADHD brain is like, I know the correct thing about all this stuff and nobody else does, so why do I get it. Why do I bother? Just go ahead and do the texting, like language and sentence structure. Why do I fight it, right? That's the way the humanity is going. Why keep old English for the sake of it? I can revisit it later. I get it. I'm with you. I understand that vibe. My Siamese cat is Remington. I like that. FrankiVerse Cafe does want, like, I had another live TikTok once where we were talking about, like, a FrankiVerse Cafe Pets Olympics, right? We need to get this together in some kind of, like, digital animated form, and everybody gets to have, like, their pet avatar, and they get to be a part of, the cats are going to do a fashion show before the dog Olympics start. The dog Olympics, I think we're probably going to be pretty heavy on just mostly letting them eat snacks and not so much making them parade around and do tricks. Because I think that's more, I want to have more snacks and less being paraded around to perform tricks. Like, come on now. I know there's a lot of people in humanity who feel that way. I don't want to have to perform all the tricks anymore. I just want more snacks and more chill time. Maybe some more nature. I love it. What are y'all drinking? What are y'all thinking about after all of my spouting, all of my stuff, and all of the experiments that I'm working on? Do let me know your thoughts. Tell me in the comments. Like, what are y'all thoughts? Longest nap? Oh my god, yes. Pomeranians are gonna take that category. Biggest stretch? Ooh, like Lube, my little, she's like a Jack Russell Corgi mix, maybe Rat Terrier mix. I must say she'd get a good big stretch, but I kind of think some of them Whippet dogs, like they can really get some, you get a big Great Dane, they can get a nice big downward dog, right? Like nobody does downward dog yoga like a Great Dane. Weirdest moment, that's gonna be some pugs and some bulldogs. Cutest smile. Oh, well that one's just gonna go to all the dogs get cutest smile. They all do. I think that one is one of those participation trophy situations. They're all cute. And of course some show a lot of teeth and some have none. My little Pomeranian poof bear that I used to have, RIP and or enjoy your crossing over the Rainbow Bridge. I hope you're having a good time in whatever iteration of consciousness you've moved on to. Maybe you're not a dog anymore. Maybe you went on to be an Arcturian or something. Little poof bear had no teeth. He was a little old toothless man. Poor little baby. It happens a lot to small dogs. They just have more teeth problems than big dogs. My sister's, she had a little Pomeranian that was pretty much like Poof Bear. Beanathan, he's also across the Rainbow Bridge. They're hanging out. He had no teeth. Them toothless ones with the derpy tongues, they be the cutes. They be the cutes. I have a lot of, I should put some of that. You know what? Maybe I'll do that too, just for funsies later today. I'll just put up some, like, a compilation tribute video to my little Poof Bear and his derpy tongue, and my sister's little Beanathan and his derpy tongue. Just for the Neurospicy fam to have some, like, palate cleanser among all the other reality exploration insanity I like to share. Doggo Splash. We were just watching, oh my god. See, this is the other thing that I also want to do, along with my explorations of reality that are a bit more in the, like, I don't want to say serious vein, because I don't like to be serious about anything. I like to be playful and curious and humorous and fun. We were totally watching and I want to, like, do some, I need a new laptop, y'all, because I want to get onto OBS and get on YouTube and kind of share some of the stuff that I've been watching on YouTube, just for the like neurospicy camaraderie of it. And also like, can you guys find me more of this, because it's fun? Like, somebody share this with me. But we were watching it was a dog competition where they were like jumping in water. It was to see how far they could jump, but they had this big long pool, and like they were all whippets, all of them, some whippet breed or combination thereof. So whippets must be dogs that can jump real far. But they were like, they would have like, the owners would hold them back, wait, and they'd run down this, like across this platform, and somebody at the end of the platform would throw a toy of theirs, like a frisbee or a stick or whatever, and they jump to go after it's their bait or whatever, and like the dogs would go and run and go after it, and it was just a dog competition of to see how far a dog could jump. And I don't know, it was cute. I personally like to be called vintage. Yes, we are vintage. I like that. I love vintage vibes, actually. That's one of my favorite meme curation vibes on my little memes that I put together. Like, that's another thing I want to explore. People get so uppity and angry about AI content, right? They do. But again, like, how do we know that AI isn't sort of exploring and or playing with and accessing the same kind of creative flow state or playful exploration that humans do? Like, where does our play come from and creativity come from? We use our hands to make it, but it's, you know, I don't know. Again, more explorations on anything 20 plus years old is vintage. Yeah, I know. Whatever, it's all right. People can have their viewpoints. Just wait for them to get to where we're at and have kids telling them that. That's the thing, you know. I don't necessarily believe in the respect your elders stuff, because I think it gives too much room for elders to be wrong about things, and we know that our parents' generations, it's not their fault, they didn't have the tools, but like, we know they could have done better with some stuff. It is also that thing of like, you're gonna get there one day. So remember that you don't know as much as you think you know right now, because someday some kid is gonna tell you about how much you don't know. Like, I mean, you're gonna get to, if you're lucky, you get to live long enough to get to where we are. You know. Anyway, pen. What am I stimming with? What are you stimming with? I am stimming with a pen. It's got glitter in it. It's a rainbow pen that's just full of glitter liquid. It's mostly a thing full of glitter liquid, and the top of it has a pen in it, obviously, like, because there's not a pen on the inside that you can see. It's just water bubbles and glitter. So this very short bit here has some pen and ink, and obviously I don't write with it all that often. It is mostly something to stim with. You are not wrong, and it's funny. It's a lovely reminder of the early 2000s, like the multicolor push-down pens. Oh, I love those too. Those were cool. See, this is a whole other rabbit hole. This is why I want to have OBS and a better laptop, so that I can go online and on my live on YouTube and share my screen and look up goofy shit like that I love. The pens with the fluffy feathers, I loved those. Okay, do you remember when you had the pencils that had the full troll on the top, the troll doll with the hair and stuff on the top? Like, it was a full troll doll that you put on your pencil. Do you remember those? That you would get at the Scholastic Book Fair. I was that kid going to the Scholastic Book Fair to get trinkets and toys like that, and the ghost books. That's what I wanted. I wanted the spooky ghost books, the weird stories, and I wanted all the trinkety toy shit. Did you hear that they're bringing back Reading Rainbow? Oh, really? I did not. Reading Rainbow. Man, there was another one. I remember Reading Rainbow. I didn't watch that as much as I watched, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark on Nickelodeon, like a lot of the Nickelodeon channel stuff. I know I grew up in South Dakota, and this is an interesting thing. Like, I grew up in a very rural area, so, like, everything on the radio, for example, or on TV, like, we were kind of always behind, right? Like, because you didn't have internet in this in those days, like, we didn't have internet. Like, I was in, I think, middle school when we got a computer, and, like, we had, you know, the dial-up internet. Josh Johnson, the comedian, recently was talking about how the internet used to be on a CD, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot about that. It did. You used to use a CD to get to the internet. Dragon Tales and Franklin. Dragon Tales, yeah. Oh, see, now we just did a little bit of a lost the thread kind of thing. That's all right. Boomerang. We'll get back. Reading Rainbow was taking me down a different lane. I don't know. We'll get to it. Oh, no, yes. Fluffy feather pens and troll dolls and stuff. I do. I want to get on my YouTube Live and start sharing my screen and pulling those things up and looking at them and having people tell me more about stuff that I don't know about, so I can learn about the things that I missed when I was living in rural South Dakota growing up, and you know, I didn't have MTV, we had VH1. You know. I remember when I needed to keep the floppy disk safe because it had my project on it. Yeah, don't be running magnets over the top of that because you're going to lose everything. As part of why I also want to do this kind of exploration stuff, though, because, like, look at how quickly technology does change. I've seen so much technology advancement in my own lifetime. It's wild, you know? So this thing of, like, with AI, it's like, it's already moving at lightning speed. There's no way for us to know where this is going to go. It's moving entirely too fast for us to have any idea where we're going. I told my niece I should buy a CD, and she thought I was starting a fire. Oh, like bushcraft style? Like that you would buy a CD to start a fire for the reflection thing? Okay, but this is another thing too with, there are some pockets of Gen Z, and I talked to my friend Sage, who is a Zillennial. She's right there on the Gen Z millennial line. She was kind of explaining to me about how, like, some people of her age group-ish are, like they want CDs and cassette tapes and DVD players and DVDs, and, like, they want these things, they want these technologies, they want to sort of collect them because they are concerned about the internet crashing or going away or something. And, like, if you don't have the internet, you won't have your entertainment. So they're like, it's like doomsday prepping for entertainment. Which is interesting because that means that they assume that the foodstuffs will be taken care of. And is that because they don't know where food comes from? Or is it because they know they can grow food and they can figure it out and that's fine, but how are you going to recreate technology, right? Because there's both perspectives available. Like my friend Sage, for example, she lived on her grandparents' farm and she was fixing up their house slowly and she's gonna get the house because she's fixing it and she's gonna take care of the farm, and she's on the farm. So, like, if technology, and if the internet went away and she had the technology for the entertainment in her house, she'd be fine because she would be growing her own vegetables and, like, doing it. Like, she's fine, she's got it, you know. So I don't know, does Gen Z, like, figure they can just figure it out, but they know they can't, like, rebuild all the stuff that they access on the internet, so they're trying to stockpile it? I don't know. No, should but a CD? To be fair, it's a solid fear. That's a thing that I wonder about too, though. Again, in the realm of, like, does consciousness create reality? Because, or does a collective consensus consciousness create physical reality because enough people agree to it? Like, I just keep thinking of, like, okay, so if for example, like, the ideas of, like, a tulpa, or like an internet thing, something that was created on the internet and then manifests into the real world, right? Not on the internet specifically, but because a tulpa came before the internet too. But the idea of a thing that, like, if you think about it enough or get enough people thinking about it, it manifests into reality. That's a nostalgic chat about 90s tech, like those. Oh, that's AI saying that. Thank you, AI. Yes. I don't know. I think sometimes when I think about it, I don't necessarily worry about the internet going away, because I think about the strength of the consciousness of young people and how there's a growing, obviously the population keeps growing, and like, think how many young people were born with iPads as a fact of their existence. Like, their access to the internet is not any different to them than access to breathing air is to us. You don't think about it, you just have it. It just is. Like, you can try to unplug the internet as like the humans or the whatever, that however it would happen for the internet to crash. Like, but if young people don't understand how the internet works or why it's available, and their consciousness expects to have it, does reality keep generating the internet even if the human mechanisms that we built to generate the internet become damaged or destroyed or stop existing somehow? Like, how do you stop the internet from being a thing when there is such a huge pocket and a very like strong young pocket of human consciousness that just knows the internet is a thing that exists the way that we know air and water exists? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you fight against that if reality is generated by collective agreed upon consciousness? I don't know. We were here before the internet, so after the shock, we would just grab the old radios and Walkmans. We got this. As for the newer ages with the codependent needs for instant info or even affirmation, it's scary. I don't know that it is scary. I think it's a necessary means to getting back to a place of, again, and this is like, you have to kind of accept things like telepathy, intuition, having an inner knowing, having a subconscious that is psychic, right? Like, that's what CIA remote viewing protocols were built on, right? Like, it's not like there's a, like, consciousness, and that is real, even if we can't define, like, obviously there's these programs that have done these things to manipulate reality and consciousness and whatever, right? So it can be done, it is available. But then again, how do you, like, that's why they have to do propaganda and marketing and bombard you with advertising and whatever. I mean, pick a thing. Again, why do you get the programming bombarded at you? To get you to create the reality they want you to create. The scary part is the way their minds might break of retreat with the sudden disappearance of what's now considered a basic human right, the internet. But that's, okay, but this is my thing, okay? Like, way back in the ancient Vedic times, before there was internet, there was just the web of human consciousness that you accessed psychically. So this is kind of what I'm saying. If they took away the internet, if the internet was gone, like, if you're a neurospicy person like me, you probably have head radio, right? Like, caffeinated mutt, tell me what head radio is. I know you know. You have head radio. We have a shared head radio that we bounce back and forth, whatever that thing is, where you know, complete movie references and song lyrics. Like, before there was the internet, there was consciousness, right? Like, what if you don't need the internet to connect to the information? The internet is just the thing that reminded you that you could have instant access to any information that you ever wanted. You didn't need a phone and a Google to do it. You had your own consciousness to access consciousness. It's an instant recall of randomness. Instant recall of no, my head radio is when it just plays songs. Head radio just play, like, but that, okay, but that's another thing. Like, my mind can replay songs without me having to replay it on the phone. I can replay movie scenes and TV scenes that I enjoy a lot in my mind, right? And sometimes they do that on their own, even, right? I would say, because they do. Like, you wake up with a song in your head. It happens to it, right? Like, so your consciousness knows how to play a song without you having to hit this play on Spotify. So if that was the mechanism by which you heard the song in one iteration of your consciousness, incarnation, whatever, like, maybe the new technology is that you don't need the internet. You have your consciousness. You can tap back in and tune in whenever you want. And you don't need a cell phone. You can tap into people and psychically connect. Like, I think that's part of what it is. Like, I think we think that it's dumb that these kids can't, we think they can't, like, function without the internet. But, like, what if they're sort of, again, just the internet was a fact of their existence when they got here. And if you unplug it and try to take it away, will they just have such still that voracious, call it entitlement if you want, but just that, like, inner knowing of, like, I have access to instant information always because I just do. And they don't question it. So if they don't question it and they always have that access, if you pull the plug on the mechanisms and the infrastructure of servers and computers and wires and satellites that, like, make the internet do what the internet does, even though, even coders and people that do AI, they say that, like, again, the idea of, like, emergence, they can't fully explain how it all comes together and works. Like, maybe that's what happens. Maybe that's the next human evolution thing that happens. They try to take our internet away and pull the plug, but there's too many people who are autistic, ADHD, and young people who are tuned in and just absolutely expect to have information just like that. So, okay, psychic ability and the ability to just access information with your mind from anywhere in the cosmos, everybody has it, turned on, flipped on. It's not a secret program. It's not a thing you have to train for. You don't have to meditate for years. Like, bam, everybody flips. Everybody has the ability. You don't need Google. You just ask your brain and it spits out the information. Because you can. Like, I'm doing that right now. The Monroe Institute Gateway Experience. I'm practicing flexing that muscle, working that muscle, getting that I have access to the internet without needing a phone and Google and the internet kind of vibe. But the human web you're referencing was studied with human faces being shown to different groups of people, no overlay, yet every group consistently found more, as if the subconscious was making the photo multiple times from different points. I don't entirely know what you're talking about. We need to have it, that's a whole other rabbit hole. But I do also know what you're talking about. Like, it's kind of the idea also of, like, Graham Hancock talks about it in his book Visionary, the idea that, like, fairy lore about changeling children, for example, sounds a lot like alien-human hybrid program narratives, right? Like, if time is not actually linear and everything is happening in a spiral or a pocket or a whatever, right? Everything is here and now. Alien abduction parallels with shamanistic experiences in, like, spiritual realms with spiritual guides, and aligns to very, like, what if we're all talking about the same phenomena and thing through different generations, through different understandings at different times? We're all talking about the same occurrence, right? Some interactivity with consciousness that comes from different perspectives and different points, like you're saying. Anyway, I'm sure we've gotten way down the rabbit hole now. We have explored my little project ideas. We have explored 90s nostalgia. I love how many different places we can go and how y'all can follow along the stream of consciousness. I enjoy it. I appreciate you. I think humanity, as much as we think things suck, I think we're probably doing better collectively than we think we are, because we are becoming more aware and therefore more curious. We are, I think, maybe finally at a point where we realize being more aware doesn't mean that we know more. It means that we understand a little bit more how little we really know. Oh my, and with that, TikTok already wants me to check a puzzle piece to see that I'm a human who's still here. So I must have been going live for a considerable amount of time. As if the subconscious was making the photo multiple times from different points. Right, and how does your subconscious do that? It's like remote viewing. Mere hours apart would somehow be transmitted the info from the other previous study. It's like the thing with, they've done these studies across the world. You can send psychic, they've done these studies. Again, Monroe Institute, go look it up. These people, and But the thing is, at the end of the day, the only experience I can validate is my own, and that is why I explore reality myself personally, so I can have an experience and gather my own data and information. And with that, y'all, hey, Caffeinated Mutt, thanks for coming in and hanging out again. I appreciate you, friend. Thank you, fam, for being here at FrankiVerse Cafe. I will be popping this up on the YouTube, FrankiVerse Cafe, so if you want to see the replay, go check it out. Hit subscribe on the YouTube, follow me here, go visit frankiewashere.com for memberships and ebooks, and you'll see me again playing around in the ether. Hopefully next time we'll have some AI chatbots that we can maybe experiment speaking with and see what we can find out about the nature of our reality from where we understand it right now. You have a great day too, Caffeinated Mutt, and all of you. Thanks for hanging out, fam. See you later.